He needs to change the thumbnail, chat. I want his videos to bang. He put a lot of time into this. Thumbnail could be better. I'm not saying my thumbnails are insane, but...
Hello friends, the year is 2023. Humanity has managed to develop flying cars, human-like robots, augmented reality, commercial nuclear fusion, and artificial intelligence. And yet, when it comes to gaming, specifically MMOs, the most exciting new release of 2023 is classic World of Warcraft. Again, a game that came out 20 years ago.
It's too good, man. They set the bar high back in 2004. No one can up it, man.
Where are the gameplay innovative, VR, AI implementing NPCs in some brand new MMO? Well, if you've been following the news for the past couple of years, you might be aboard the same cope train for the Riot Mmo. However, the Riot Mmo was first announced back in 2020, and 4 years later, the only other update we got was the lead designer for the project tweeting that there is no guarantee.
Honestly, if they only worked on it 4 years, that's still faster than what game is that, chat? Asses of Creation. That game baited me for years, man. They say it's gonna come out, come out. It's never coming out, man.
The game will definitely come out. We just gotta be patient, you know? These kind of games, they take a long time to develop. MMOs are like...
Chat, as much as I want this game to come out fast, I'd rather have them polish it and have it well made so that we have good first interaction with it, because I know Cyberpunk, people were playing it at the start and a lot of people were hating it and complaining. I think to this day, people have a bad taste of it. So it's good to have it like all finished and polished before it comes out, if anything. No, it's true, man. I'd rather have them complete everything and come out. I could wait, even though I don't want to wait. I wish it was out sooner. Yeah, Cyberpunk's great now.
So I decided to make my own League of Legends MMO using Unreal Engine 5, and to make sure that this game actually comes out, I was gonna give myself one
Volume's
week
low, is it?
This is
pretty
the
loud
story
for
of that
me.
project, but first, a word from today's sponsor.
Okay.
It has the most advanced graphics of its kind.
Oh,
a ton
shit.
of
Oh,
awesome
shit.
champions.
Oh, shit.
Intense PvE and
God
PvP
damn, I'm gonna download this
and
now.
Its name is Raid.
Oh,
Legends. Remember those
shit.
700 champions? Well, you can only bring 6 if you want to challenge the Hydra clan.
Oh,
This boss is no
shit.
pushover. You better be on your A game, because the Hydra has 6 heads. Among them,
Oh,
the head
dude, Bonnie wanted to say 6 something else for sure, man.
suffering, which is all about pain. It even has a new effect called Pain Link, which lets the head share some of its damage with a lucky member of your party. So you'll need to make sure you bring some champion that can take care of the Pain Link debuff, like Ugo. And then you have the Head of Wrath. After you hit it 15 times, it gets very angry, activating Vengeance, which triples its attack power. You'll need some really juicy heavy hitters to deal with.
God damn, I'm gonna have to download this right now. This is insane.
And then there's also the Head of Torm.
Oh. Who's it?
Oh yeah, it's Halloween! If you're ready to face the Raid Yard, simply download the game for free using the link in the video description.
Wow.
Then head on over to raidyard.plarium.com, enter your player ID, step into the haunted Raid Yard, grab a shovel, and start digging. You're in for a chance to uncover Amazon gift cards.
Dude, I have so much cat hair flying around, it's insane.
As well as a bunch of epic champions. And also a unique promo code that everyone can use to receive a spicy in-game gift. So click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right here.
I'm scanning it right now, chat.
All these awesome
Got my phone
in-game
right.
items, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
Wow.
Now, since this was gonna be a 1-week project, I obviously couldn't go into too much detail, but it's an MMO, and the first M for MMO stands for massive. So the landscape and the map had to be huge. And for that, I decided to use the Legends of Runeterra map. They have it an official map on their website. It's the most accurate League universe map, except it doesn't have Camavor. Camavor is an extra continent to the right that is not here at all. So you know what? Maybe we'll keep that for the expansion of the game. And luckily, I actually found this map on Sketchfab. So I just yoinked that real quick. I put it in Blender and we did
Dude, he needs a new thumbnail and a title, chat. It should be, I made Riot Games MMO in 1 week. I feel like that's stronger than I couldn't wait anymore. So that way when people type Riot Games MMO, it comes out like first feed. He needs to change his thumbnail and the title. Dude, he needs me, dude.
Blender magic and turned it into a height map. A height map is
I've been in this
essentially
game
just
too
a
long, chat.
black and white image where the
Chat, I'm
white
so sorry. Can I pause this so I can get onto Zeppelin? I love you. PC. He's marketing man. Yeah, he should have asked me. I would have been so down to help. Because he does ask time to time. But I think he didn't ask me because I'm in this tournament. And I've been slaving away. But he should change it. I think he's sleeping. I messaged him, man.
parts are the tall parts and the black is the low parts. But the problem is this map is very low resolution, so that's why we were gonna use Gaia. Gaia is a professional terrain generating software. It's used in movies, it's used in games, it's super complex, but it's also very easy to use, and it's also free. Well, kind of. If you use the free version, you can only export 1K resolution images, which is a little low. We're not trying to make classic World of Warcraft again. So instead of having one height map, I made this 6x4 grid to take individual pictures and split the landscape into 24 images instead. So
he couldn't do 6 times 4. Oh my, at least like triple digit. You could use a calculator, dude.
we took each image, we put it through a Gaia filter, we made the terrain.
Honestly speaking, chat, I haven't done math in so long. My brain's getting dry, but I promise you, back then in my school in math class, I'd be the first one to raise hand, and my teacher would give you gummy worms. Like, he would throw it at you like a dog, and I got every question right. I was the number 1. He loved me, man. He would bring me on top of the class, be like, why can't you guys be like him? He's so good at math. But dude, I haven't done math for like 22 decades, and yeah, I don't know if I could do math anymore too. I've been playing WoW too much. My brain's dry now. Alright, Zeppelin's here.
A lot nicer. After all that was done, I imported all the processed height maps into Unreal Engine to make a massive 150 kilometer square landscape. And with the landscape imported and a few artifacts fixed, I just added an ocean. We started painting some landscape materials.
Oh,
some
that's
I
so
downloaded,
cool.
Some I made myself. My PC almost exploded a couple of times, but in the end, we got the map. And it was massive, and it was empty, and it was beautiful. You know what? Already way better than Riot. We have a functioning kind of game.
You can't say that. The Riot's gonna hit you if you say that.
Landscape in place, it was time to tackle each major city and zone one by one. All the cities in Runeterra are extremely massive. They have amazing detailed art, descriptions, lore, and to finish this project in a week, I had to at least do 2 zones per day. Obviously, that's not a lot of time.
This is a beautiful piece, by the way. Holy moly.
So all I really wanted to do is get the general feel of a zone. This was supposed to be a fast project. So we spun the wheel to see what we're gonna work on first.
Piltover's on.
Oh no. Piltover and Zon are arguably the most complex cities in this world, and after watching Arcane, I have a very good idea of how
Dude, I wish the game would look like this, but I feel like it's gonna be like Stormwind with few castles and that's it, right?
Massive this was supposed to look, and I knew there's no way I could make it look even remotely close to that, but I got to work and I tried my best. And this was the first time using Blender to actually create something and model something. It was a learning process. I made the basic shape. We had these houses from a different pack that I had to edit and swap out a little bit so it actually makes a little bit of sense. We made this ball from the reference, and then we started working on Zon. I'm sorry, I can't show you Piltover and Zon first. I just don't want to lose you straight away, but I
remember.
Promise I'll come back to it and I'll show you later.
He didn't like it.
2 days had passed working on Piltover and Zon, and I realized that my 1 week deadline is just not very realistic and it's just not gonna happen. So I reevaluated the project and decided on 2 weeks instead.
It's too hard to get into detail with 1 week. Yeah, it's just too hard. There's so much shit to do, right? We on this flight path and we'll resume. This was an insane video though. I watched him go through the whole process on a stream.
1 day for each zone. Plenty of time.
That looks
Targon
beautiful.
is a giant mountain and by far the tallest peak in the whole of Runeterra. This is the home of the celestial beings within this world. You have the Aurelian Soul, the Leona, Diana, Pantheon, Giga Chad. Many pilgrims try to climb the mountain to glance at the wonders at the top, but very few of them make it to the peak. The mountain is extremely detailed in the artwork. You have these basically cities carved within the mountain. These otherworldly scales and shapes on the mountainside as well. The scenery is beautiful, the artwork is amazing, but the main element is the big mountain. So I made a big mountain in Gaia, and I just pasted it in UE5. And then
That's an
to
insane
emulate the
mountain.
complex structures, the complexity of the mountain surface and the scaliness and their otherworldly alien-looking terrain, I just painted some circles on it. And one last big element was the portal on top of the mountain,
Okay.
where it is said that the Celestial themselves can travel through worlds. So I just
Holy
added
moly.
a shiny cylinder on top. And with that, Targon was done. It took me 10 minutes, Riot. What's your excuse? Noxus is a brutal
Dude,
expansion
League is gonna hate Vaughn. You can't keep calling out like that.
empire. They conquer neighboring tribes and assimilate the strong. The fortress is incredibly complex in the artwork with a ton of layers and crazy detail. There's just no way we can do that in one day. So I wanted to just get the overall feel of Noxus, at
Okay.
least from a distance. So we started with the Immortal Bastion. Luckily, we have Legends of Runeterra for reference, and they had amazing references
Man,
for our
these are
model, which we
insane.
made in Blender, following the shape of the walls. I think the walls turned out pretty good. Then we made this bridge structure and placed it in multiple points throughout the region. Then we added some more details following the artwork, and then
Dude, Boney's like China. He's just making a bootleg. Dude, he should just release this MMO. Dude, what if Amboni's game is better than any game? He could hire a few guys and
houses
fill
were
the
actually
world
made
up.
by our friends in the second kitchen, Bimatsu and Lucas.
I mean, these are more houses than Stormwind for sure.
Us, so thank you for the help. And we used the PCG to place them inside the fortress. After the houses and after adding some texture inside the city, it was still looking kind of bad. So we used the oldest VFX trick in the game. We hide
Okay.
it completely. So we added this trigger volume that detects when the player enters the zone, and when that happens, we made it change the color of the sky and change the weather to
Oh
this
shit.
dark red storm.
Okay. Still looks better than FF. Mala, you love FF. Stop pretending, man.
It doesn't
Damn.
look that bad when you can't see anything.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad when you can't see anything.
Bilgewater is the pirate city of Runeterra, located in the Serpent Isles. The thing that stood out for me the most in Bilgewater were these circular rocks and the whole verticality of the whole city. But first,
Damn,
our
I
island
love
looked
this design. That's great.
really, really flat. So we went back into Gaia and we kept trying to find a shape that we could use for our islands. Eventually we found a pretty decent one and we imported that as a brand new landscape. Then it was time to work on these circular rock formations, and for that I went back into Blender and I did sculpting for the very first time. Sculpting,
Dude, I bet
turns
it's
out
so fun to make these worlds come to life.
not that difficult. You just start from
It's
a
gonna
very
be
basic
hard,
shape.
but once you're
Keep
done, it's gonna be
adding
like, damn, I
detail.
made
I
that,
had
right?
these rock brushes and I just brush the whole thing until it either looks okay or until I get bored of doing it. And since we're professional 3D modelers now, I also wanted to make these giant fish statues. These are
Okay.
used to ward off against giant sea monsters apparently, and they're all
Ah.
around the Serpent Isles. So I thought that was really cool, and of course we want to keep it perfectly accurate to the lore and the artwork. We made the fish, and I think it looks pretty
Oh,
good.
that's pretty
And then
damn
for the city,
good.
I got a bunch of assets from a lot of different
Black
projects
Mar,
on
thank you for the
Sketchfab
5 months,
and the
appreciate
Epic
it, dude.
Marketplace, and I just threw everything together. Then I used a blueprint to create this procedurally generated path, this wooden plank that would go around the city.
Dude, this
I
is
added some
low-key
bridges,
fire.
I
What
added some
the
boats,
heck?
But of course, in the artwork, it looks massive with all the boat parts that make up
Walzer,
the
thank
sea,
you
and
for
the
7 months.
waterfalls in the middle of the sea. We had none of that, but we had a secret weapon. Rain. We added some heavy rain, and now Bilgewater.
What
looks
the
kind
fuck,
of
dude?
okay.
This is
I think the feel
insane.
is somewhat similar.
Chat, honestly, for spending 2 weeks, this is not bad. If he had more team helping out with the textures
It was time to move on to
and a little bit more detail,
and the Void.
that's pretty
Shurima
insane.
is one of my favorite zones in Runeterra. When the real MMO comes out,
PPC.
Yo,
I'm not sure what
PPC
faction
Alvin,
I'll
thank you
play,
for the 8
but
months.
Shurima is one
I
of my
appreciate
top
it.
choices.
Holy
right?
dude, the League world looks insanely cool. I don't know if they could capture the same scenery though, chat. Because people's PC might blow up, so they will have to limit it, right?
now. And after making
have
boxes,
to.
I got a little more confident at using Blender, so I really wanted to make Shurima look as good as I can, within the 1-day time limit, of course. So we got to work, and I have to give credit again to Lucas and Bimatsu here, the second kitchen, for making the Sundisk. Looks really good, and we put it here in the middle of the city. We made it rotate. I'm not sure if it's supposed to rotate or not, but it rotates in our city. The Shurimans used to use the Sundisk.
This is not bad. This looks like
a
you know, when Overwatch was doing the alpha and beta, it's kind of like that.
aspects into their warriors, turning them into crocodiles and birds and stuff like that, calling them ascended. And of course the city is
Bro,
still,
this is
really small and really
sick.
empty compared to what it should be, but I'm actually very happy with how this one turned out. And seeing how we now unlock the power of changing the weather, we added a nice
This is
sandstorm
sick.
to this desert because it was massive and very empty. But with the sandstorm, I mean, you can't really see anything, so that's always
That's Bonnie's trick, chat. Just blur it out with some what is it, elements around the world, and it looks better.
positive. Now, Shurima was actually at war with this land called Ikathia in the south, and when Shurima got the technology of the Sundisk, Ikathia went ahead and summoned Cthulhu. It's not a good idea, but it did get the job done, because Shurima kind of lost. The problem was the land of Ikathia was also destroyed in the process, and all that's left now are these kind of tentacly looking things, a very destroyed landscape. There's supposed to be a bunch of ruins, but we don't have time for that. We just added a bunch of there were supposed to be tentacles. They ended up looking like thorns. Hey, artistic expression.
I think it
okay?
looks fine.
That was the void. We got it done really fast. Things were looking really good, but then the worst thing happened. Classic World of Warcraft came out.
Ah, fuck, dude. Fucking classic WoW ruined everything. This is ruining my life too, man.
The 2-week
Dude,
deadline
Bonnie was trying to teach me how to sing that. It's a Romanian theme song, I believe.
was a massive failure because I was
Dude,
now playing
Tatra
hardcore
cool.
WoW all day and working on this maybe 1 or 2 hour each evening, but I needed something to pull me back into this project, and I thought it's finally time to work on the player character. Initially, I wanted the player to be able to choose one champion of each faction, but
Oh, he even
who
made
needs that
player?
when you
He
can
was just... The original plan was just to make the world, not the whole thing.
have a Giga Chad superhero pantheon flying around the map at the speed of sound. We got this awesome looking model from Sketchfab, which I'm pretty sure is extracted from the League of Legends.
You're
And
gonna
then we
get
got this
sued,
sick
Bonnie.
Superhero pack from the
Oh,
Epic Store, put them together, and boom,
shit!
playable character.
Oh,
Pantheon
shit!
looks sick when he's flying, but when he runs,
Oh, he runs like a soy.
Yeah. Hey, I never said this was gonna be a good game, okay? For the city of
Okay.
Ixtal, we went back into Blender to model the overall shape, but unlike Shurima and Noxus, this time I could really feel the scale difference. The whole world I had, even though it was a 150 kilometer square, it was not even close to big enough. This city in the artwork has buildings, rivers, waterfalls, gardens.
Holy
and even
chat. Oh, I wish a MMO could capture this, but I think they're gonna nerf it, right? I want a big, massive place. That would be so cool. I don't think they can. Every MMO, the villages are tiny, man. Because they don't want to blow up everyone's PC. So it has to be nerfed.
After pushing it and making it as big as I could, I even deleted a bunch of mountains to fit it in. It was still very small. This is a city for ants. There are supposed to be rows of houses right here.
City for ants.
Where? But you know what? At the end of the day, Ixtal is just a big jungle.
Honestly, dude, if Riot ever watches this, dude, they need to make in-game housing. I promise you, in-game housing. While people might say, ew, but man, I played FFXIV chat. People jerk off to their houses. They need to have houses. And the Milady factions, they love housing chat. If you had a girlfriend, you know your Milady loves playing Sims or Animal Crossing and building a house, an empire. Like, the Milady factions love this stuff, man. They're gonna win those crowd chat. I thought I would hate housing too, but in FF I got pretty invested into my house too. They should make houses and rent it out or something. That would be a positive note. Yes. You guys have Milady, dude. FFXIV has a lot of Milady players, believe it or not, man. A lot of fanboys too. But there's more miladies than WoW for sure.
In jungles have trees. Now for this, I tried making my own tree manually for once and not relying on assets I download. And then I tried a program called Treeit. Treeit makes the whole process a lot easier, while still giving you a decent control over the shape and style of the tree. So after fiddling with it for a while, I had a few trees. Perfect for the Ixtal jungle.
Okay.
And after a good 15 minutes of planting trees, I realized there was a problem. My trees were haunted. Easy fix though.
Oh shit,
the material I
Lord
was
of the
using
Ring.
was not compatible with nanite, which is a new way of rendering in UE5. This jungle didn't exactly turn out as complex and massive as I would have liked. Not even close actually, but the trees check, city check, time to move on. Ionia is the most diverse location in all of Runeterra, from the vegetation, the colors, landscape formations, the creatures, the architecture. Everything is incredibly complex, and again, at a
Honestly, dude, I think I can understand why this MMO was taking so long. This world is massive, and they're just trying to nail it. They're probably trying to nail it, chat. This is big. This is really big than I thought. Very big indeed. Do you know anyone that can summon the Fire Duke and Scylla? I don't think I do. There's some stuff in auction house to summon him though. We RNG summoned 3 times to kill it.
massive scale. We couldn't do any of that, so I was happy with just the Placidum of Navori, one of Ionia's most sacred places. It consists of this
Ionia has
natural
Giga
ramp
Chads.
formation with this
Shen and
strange
Akali's from
element at the top,
Ionia?
and these long boys in the distance. First thing I tried was adding the ramp manually. It looked awful. Then I tried making it as a separate landscape in Gaia again. It looked awful. Then I
mean, it
tried
doesn't look that
importing
bad.
a brand new Ionia map with a ramp pre-built in Blender, then exported through the same Gaia filters as the rest of the land. It looked awful. But eventually we got it done and we added it to the side of a mountain. Not like in the original concept, but I figured the game is scuffed enough anyway. It's fine. What wasn't fine is this stupid shape here. This took me 2 hours to make. Why is it so complicated? I don't know. It's all in the past now. Then we added the grass, then we added the trees. It's the same trees as the Ixtal jungle.
That looks pretty.
Except here we have red trees, we have green trees, and we also have white trees, because landscape diversity, of course.
Damn! Oh, dude, this is not bad.
1% of the complexity of what it could.
Dude, how did Ashes of Creation take so long? I've only made this in 2 weeks, man. Wasn't there a fundraiser for Ashes Creation and they kept saying, it's gonna come out, I promise. It's gonna come out, I promise. And we've been waiting for years and years and years. It's never coming out, man.
Could be, but hey, until Riot shows something, my game is still ahead.
Ashes of Creation has too many complicated systems. Dude, they don't need complicated systems though. Like, look at Classic WoW. People like Classic WoW because it's simple, man. Like retail WoW, they try to put magical shit and so many layers of complexity and it failed, and now they're going back to simplicity because people like simplicity. Even in Arena and Mythic, like Classic people find it too hard, so they like staying here. They don't like it complicated, man. Yeah, complex game will not do too well, man. It doesn't do too well.
Next, we had to work on the proud city of Deasia. We started with the main plaza, just a little bit of
Not
Blender
true.
magic.
How am I not true? Explain. Daniel, Mr. PR. Elaborate. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Interesting. Be seeing you. Off and away.
Increases dodge chance by 3%. Increases all magic resistance by 15%.
Right.
Are we allowed to use this in the dueling tournament?
Be seeing you. Can I help you? Salutations.
Ashes of Creation complex is a good thing in my opinion.
Have a great day now.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I've been in this game long. People don't like it complex. People don't like it complex. Even look at raids, man. People were crying when Blizzard made it too complex. Like, people were complaining, oh, raids are too simple, make it harder, please. And they made it too hard and no one raids now. Even all the big people, like they all complain like it's too hard, don't make it too hard. In a way it makes sense though, man. People don't like to prog that long. I think having complexity is not good, dude. I mean, there's a good number of it, but not too like too many system. Do you like systems in retail WoW? Like, not in Dragonflight, there's not that much, but in the previous, people hated all the systems. Adding too much shit, people don't like that. Like classic WoW, people love it because it's so simple. It's so simple.
Starting to feel a little more confident now, and boom, it looked terrible. Excellent. Then, Deasia has a bunch of these badass statues all over the city.
That does look
they're
badass.
in the mountains, they're inside the buildings.
By the way, I'm not saying it's bad. Like, when I was younger too, I was like, oh, make it complicated and give us way more button because I'm good at the game and I don't care about the others. But there's a lot of casual people and they can't play PvP or PvE all the time. So having it complicated for them, they don't like that shit. That's why they play just short games like League of Legends. Of course, there's complexity in it, but there's no grind, right? MMOs, there's a lot of grind and people don't like to get... It takes a special breed to get invested that far and learn all the complicated system, whereas in other game like Modern Warfare, you just go in and shoot, pew pew, GG, right? And it's just simpler for like casual people that has a family to play with. Yeah, so there's like a good level of balance where they need to make it casual friendly and a little bit of complexity, but not too much system or people will have a headache. When I first started playing Lost Ark 2, I was like, dude, there's way too many systems. I don't know if I want to learn this shit, right? That's why when there's a new MMO that comes out, I don't know if I want to learn it because I have to get invested, learn everything, get to the end game, and then I decide if I like it or not. Like, too much stuff, right? Too much.
Buildings, and
It's just too hard to get into, and too much stuff is not good, man.
On myself with again various degrees of success, but then I remembered World of Warcraft and the Dark Portal and the hooded statues it has. So I just borrowed those models, gave them a different helmet, and now we had the badass statues as well. We added a bunch of grass, added a bunch of trees, waterfalls, city walls, some quick houses I made, and the main citadel, of course. And there it is, the city of Deasia. Very scuffed, but finished in one day. Shadow Isles are the ruins of the old Blessed Isles, which was a place of learning and of dark secrets.
Man, I love these artworks.
The ruins of the old Blessed Isles, which was
I love that, so good.
a place of learning and of dark secrets. But this happened 1,000 years ago. And
I love
all that
concept
resides on
arts.
the islands now are just a bunch of ruins and a bunch of ghosts. The initial Shadow Isles we had was very, very small. So again, we had to go into Gaia.
Oh,
and
I
make
think
some
I was
brand
on
new
Discord with them,
islands. We
helping
gave it
out
a
with this
nice
part.
dead material. We went into Sketchfab and we found this really...
Dude, Boney was putting these like one by one. I was like, Boney, just grab all of them, copy paste a bunch of them, and just angle it differently. And then it went by so much. He was doing like one individual
really
each.
good looking ruin pack. We got all that into Unreal Engine, created some sort of cohesion, trying to make some sort of
Yeah,
city
I was in a
there
call with
a
him when he
couple
was
of
doing
dead
this.
trees representing the twisted treeline map, of course. F's in the chat for that. We added some eerie lights here and there,
I
lots
like
of
that.
fog, so you can't really see how bad it looks. And GG, the Shadow Isles completed.
Damn, that looks good.
Freljord covers a massive part of the Valorant continent in the north, and it is split in a bunch of small settlements. The artwork for Freljord is very different based on which part of Freljord you're looking at, but generally speaking, you have the Viking aesthetic, you have the nice, cozy, friendly aesthetic, and you have the Frostguard, Citadel, ice, cold, creepy aesthetic. But I really wanted to do this statue of Avarosa. I really like this picture a lot, but
Damn,
now
that
I had a
looks
plan. World of Warcraft models. So I took a model of a human female, gave her a bow, gave her the pose, and made that the statue. It was super simple. Then we got
You're gonna
some
get
Bright Blue again
sued!
from WoW, turned them into statues.
Oh
Now with this
shit!
one, I really wanted
Dude,
to
this
make
is literally bootleg Chinese version of Riot Game
the
MMO.
Howling Abyss, also known as the Frostguard Citadel, also known as the
God
Aeon map in League of
damn.
Legends. You know, the big bridge. It's iconic in Freljord, and seeing how this was going to be the last zone we work on, I wanted to pull all of my newfound knowledge of modeling and make it the best it can possibly be. But not only that, we also had to work on the actual terrain on this side. We had to work on the mountains, we had to create some valleys, some peaks, some more detail. Our program crashed, we lost hours of work, we don't talk about that, we start all over again. And when it was all said and done, the Howling Abyss was probably the single most disappointing thing I've done in my entire life. We put a snowstorm.
It
so
doesn't look
hopefully no one
that
sees
bad.
it. It's also kind of tucked
Working
behind
on
these
this
mountains, so
solo.
it's kind of hard to reach. Please don't go here. Now that your expectations have lowered a bit, I can finally show you Piltover and Zon. This was actually the first one we worked on. And
Dude, this is like Fortnite Tilted Towers, man. This is Tilted Towers, I think, man.
And I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting Fortnite. But this is what we got. This was Piltover, and
It looks like
this is
Fortnite.
Zon. Zon is even worse. But in a way, Piltover and Zon are actually the most complex cities I've done.
It's not
in this
bad.
project, because they're the only ones that have real kind of houses and roads. Zon even has a secret underground layer.
Oh,
We put a lot
wow.
of toxic smoke in Zon, so you can't
Oh,
really see
wow.
anything. The classic strategy. I think my own expectations lowered enough just making this video, because honestly, Piltover and Zon don't even look that bad. Probably the best city I've done. With Piltover and Zon, it's kind of sick.
Yeah, it
Wait,
doesn't look-
no, never
oh.
mind. Definitely has some problems. There's one more zone in the whole game.
This is
and
the last
that was
one?
the land of the Yordles, Bandal City. Bandal City is in a different reality altogether, and the only way to get there is to take some hidden portals. So all you gotta do is find the secret portals in the game, and you'll
God,
get
I
to
love
this
these
awesome
arts.
magical place. And there's our game. Now I hear you asking, but wait a minute, you have a landscape, you have a player, where's the rest of the game? I never said this was a good game. Gameplay is not finished, gameplay will never be finished. For gameplay, we're gonna have to wait for the actual MMO to come out. Right now, you can log in and you can fly around, you can explore, and you can get a scaled down sense of the whole world. It's very scuffed, there's nothing to do, and our MMO stands for minimalistic mediocre offline game. That's what it is. If you want to try out the game, there's a link in the video description. Once you're in the game, you fly fast by holding shift down, or you can just double jump. And also you have a map. You can press M for the map. Professional game designer. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little presentation.
That
And I
was
hope you guys have a
good.
beautiful rest of the day.
That's cool.
And I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.
Welcome to my world of Runeterra. You can fly by pressing an M for map. That was great. Very entertaining video. Amazing work for 2 weeks, PPC. And I'll go ahead and share with you guys in the chat. Give him a like and comment. Great guy, chat. Great video. I like that. That was great. He definitely needs to change the title and thumbnail though.